Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I thought that today we could go over my sketchbook. This is a sketchbook that I made during last spring or the spring of 2024. It was during our school's sketchbook seminar, which was an elective that you could take. There's maybe 10 pages at the end that are not filled in, but otherwise it is finished, and I don't really plan on filling up those 10 pages, at least not anytime soon, because I have already started another sketchbook and it's really hard for me to go back to one that I've already put down. If you're applying or considering studying at the same school that I'm going to right now, this will also be quite informative for you. Although they are changing the curriculum, so I'm not completely sure if you can still take this elective, but I'll maybe put some info on the screen if I do find something. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay, so here we are. Hopefully the angle isn't too wonky. I'm sitting on the floor right now in front of the window. It's just where I have the best lighting, so we're just gonna roll with this. A little bit about the sketchbook. These were provided to us by the school, so they're nothing fancy, but I can put information about it on screen if you are interested in it. It was a decent sketchbook. I have no big complaints. Maybe the paper wasn't that great for water-based mediums, but I still managed to use watercolor and gouache, so it's all good. Let's just get right into it. And of course the sun decided to make an appearance right now, but hopefully it doesn't bother you guys too much. So here we have little notes that we left for each other, me and my classmates, as we were going through our sketchbooks. I saved all of them. I have a bunch more here in the back, and these are so incredibly sweet. They were such a great idea by our teacher. It's just a really fun way to get feedback, and people would stick these on like specific drawings that they really like. Like I said, we had specific themes that we followed, so I'm gonna list all of them on the screen as well as in the description. So if you're only interested in a certain theme, you can skip right into that. The first theme was called collections of. So I decided to go with collections of clothing, and I'm not necessarily going to yap too much about each of these. I have drawn my friends quite a few times in this. You know, shout out to them for letting me use their pictures as a cute reference. Here I wanted to do something different for the collections of, so I went with bugs, and for these I used gouache. I really like how they turned out, especially these ones. I'll get some close-ups of them as well so you can see them a bit better. And then our next theme was kitchen, so naturally I went with some kitchenware for the first spread. And then with some fruit and some little pastries. I really wanted to get better at gouache, so I focused on that heavily in this sketchbook. Overall, I'm really proud of myself for using different mediums, because before this, I felt so much pressure just making a sketchbook, so I would always procrastinate or not really get anything done. But this seminar really pushed me to work more efficiently and try out new things, since we only had a week to do 3 spreads and then we'd get feedback on them. So you really just had to do, you couldn't think about it too much. And of course, seeing everyone else's sketchbooks was super inspiring and really made me wanna try harder and try out new things, because everyone in my class is so incredibly talented. Here, the theme was a ballpoint pen, and if you've been keeping track, I actually lost count about how many spreads I should have done with the kitchen, so I just jumped right into this on accident, but you know, it's all good, it's all good. It's one of my favorite spreads, actually. Yeah, I don't know, the theme was free, we just had to use a ballpoint pen, and it was a lot of fun to make, just putting in all sorts of random stuff. This kitchen section I actually did in a bus, and if you look at it close, I think you can tell because it's quite shaky. Again, with the ballpoint pen, mixing and matching random things again. I saw a cool picture of a motorcycle on Pinterest, so I wanted to draw that, and then just went with that theme for the rest of it. One more spread with the ballpoint pen. Shout out if you can recognize these scenes. They're both from South Korean movies. I think this is definitely more recognizable than the bottom one, but let me know if you know where these are from. The next theme was hair. I don't draw animals a lot, so I wanted to challenge myself a little bit. And here I used several different mediums again. I think these were alcohol markers, let me think, oil pastels, then there's gel pens, gouache. So yeah. Still going with the theme of hair, painting my friends again. I think you can really tell that I was struggling with the skin tone in this one, but the second one turned out a lot better. One more spread with hair. I absolutely love drawing long hair, so I really went ham with this spread. And here the theme was to use a wet medium, so the subject matter was free. I decided to do a little swamp inspired scene. I really struggled with this one. If you touch it like this, you can clearly feel how thick of a coat of paint I have on here because I went over it so many times. But at the end, I think it turned out okay. Then, of course, gotta have a little mermaid. And I do really like how the flower turned out as well. This one was actually my friend's idea. I have a series of paintings of girls with fish, so my friend suggested that I make one with an octopus. So I did, and it was just something fun to build a spread up with kind of low effort. This one got a lot of love from everyone, which I appreciated. I just wanted to go with a fantasy kind of vibe, do a few different characters. So we have a little fae or a fairy, a fisherman, and then a woman running through a field. She has a little baby here, but I'm not sure if you can really tell. It came out so dark. I used watercolor for this one, watercolor and gouache for the middle one, and only gouache for the third one. I think it's kind of clear when you look at it. Okay guys, now we're getting into my low effort ones. The theme was botanical studies, and maybe you can tell that I was kind of over it. Like I said earlier, our deadlines were quite strict, so you really just had to get those spreads done somehow. I don't even know what the hell is going on here, so don't look at it too hard. This one, I have nothing to say about that one either, so let's just move on. This one, at least these are kind of cute. I do like using colored pencils. I had a vision. I'm not completely sure what that vision was, but it is what it is. And sorry if the light is changing. Hopefully it doesn't bother you too much. Here again, still with the botanical studies one. I've had this idea for a big painting for a while, so I just sketched out what I had already sketched out somewhere else previously. Again, not that much to say about it. Maybe I can put the original sketch somewhere so you can see that I just copied what I had previously done. Then we move on to perspective. I'm not very good at drawing houses. Also, I keep thinking that I'm in frame. Hopefully I'm not. I'm not very good at drawing houses, but here we go. I have no idea what the hell is happening here, and I don't think you have either, but that's fine. Why am I out of breath? But for this one, I used a blue sketching pencil. I think it's used by people who draw manga as like a little sketching thing, and then they ink on top of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think that is used for. We're in my comfort area again, so drawing people. I really like how this turned out. I feel like I could have filled out the spread a little bit more. Again, shout out if you know who this is. Here I tried to do a little fisheye perspective thing. I wouldn't say that I succeeded that well, but it was a try for sure. This pose I quite like, and also the color combo that I used. Again, there was a vision somewhere here, but it's fine, it's fine. Again, I really learned to just let go and not needing everything to be perfect. That I feel like that was really valuable. We move on to fashion, likeness, and allegory. Maybe you can tell by this that I really like The Walking Dead, so I just wanted to sketch some of the characters. I definitely should have put a setting spray. I have no idea what it's called in English, but I should have put it on here because you can see that the colored pen is really smudging everywhere. And the sun decided to join us again. So moving on, this spread, I wanted to do like a whole cowboy themed spread, but I kind of ran out of time and just had to move on. I do think that these boots are really cute. I would have wanted to do like a close-up of a cowboy hat, maybe a lasso, stuff like that, but it is what it is. Again, with the fashion, I really enjoy drawing clothes, so I just did a little spread of cute girls. Then we have pop culture and national culture. I think everyone can recognize Avatar. I just wanted to recreate a couple scenes from the series, and of course, because of the martial arts aspect, they have very interesting poses. These were really fun to draw. Another low effort spread, but I just wanted to do different head scarves from around the world. Again, I feel like I definitely could have built this out more or done more with the scarves, maybe do patterns or something like that, but you know, it's not that bad. Here, I also had a vision. I wanted to do a Finland themed spread, so I do think that this is quite cute, but I would have wanted to fill it with more Finnish plants and national like dresses and outfits, but again, that ended up being a dream, but I do think it's a fun idea, so I might do that with my new sketchbook. Then we have something completely different, so the theme was collage. I'd never done collage before, but I surprisingly quite enjoyed it. For this one, I cut up some of my own like medical records and just put it on there. My friend had a lot of like old Italian magazines, so that's where a lot of these images are from. This one I really like. And one more. Very mature, as you can tell. The theme changes again, and this time it is borrowed, copied, stolen. I think you can probably recognize this style. If you can't, here's like a million examples. These were quite relaxing to do, no thinking really needed, but my god, I don't think you can even imagine how thin these were in the beginning. But then I kept messing up while painting them, so they became thicker and thicker. Oops. But they were still quite fun to make. Here with the same theme again, this one is stolen. I don't know if you can tell that I was watching House of the Dragon at the time, so that's kind of what the inspiration was. I really wish that I had had the time to ink this. I feel like it would have been really nice, but you might recognize the characters from Dune, and the statue is actually a statue of Jesus and the Virgin Mary. I'll put it here so you can compare. I love religious imagery, so I wanted to do something with that because obviously Dune, well, if you've seen Dune or you've read the books, then you know the clear allegory that there is to a Messiah figure. And then we move on to the free choice theme. You're gonna see a couple spreads that I really struggled with just because we were kind of coming to the end of the course and I really needed to pick up the pace. These are all from my childhood town. So I just walked around with a sketchbook and drew what I saw. You can read the little text, but it was very nostalgic to go around. My family still lives there, so I do visit quite often, but it was fun to look at the place from kind of this point of view, try to see all these little details. Again, I don't know if you can tell, but this is a little bit low effort. This was just during a student event. Me and my friend were panicking, just trying to fill out spreads. Same here. This is the friend in question, very kindly modeled for me. Huge effort from her part, as you can tell. I still had some leftover clippings from the collage, so I just decided to do another one because it is quite fast to do. And then we get on to the final spread of the sketchbook. As you can see from the page number, I did do 73 pages in total. Yeah, I just wanted a little summer vibe. I'm actually very proud of this one. I used mostly watercolor and I am quite bad at it. So the fact that I was able to even make that, to me, is quite impressive. Like I said, I have maybe 10 pages here that are just not filled out, but I did do over 70 pages, so I'm still very happy with myself. And because we did them in such a short amount of time, at least a short amount of time for me, I'm very happy about it. Let me know if you guys had a favorite spread or a favorite page. Again, maybe for me, this might be my favorite one. It's always interesting to hear other opinions because they can differ so much. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that it was maybe inspiring or informative if you are thinking about applying to art school, maybe specifically the art school that I'm in, because I'm not really sure what goes on in those other hellholes. It was really nice going through this again because, like I said, it was last year that I filled this out, so it's always nice to take a little trip down memory lane. I do have other sketchbooks if you guys want to see them. Maybe I could do like a little highlight reel because they are not maybe quite as polished as this one, but if you are interested, let me know. And I also did make a visual diary while I was in Ireland during my exchange, so if you guys are interested in seeing that and hearing about my exchange, then please let me know. I'd love to talk about it. I have a lot to say. Again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.